We have a panel that is intended, again, broadly to deal with issues of typography related to minority scripts. And we're very fortunate to have two excellent speakers with us. So our first speaker is Adam Yeo, who is a graphic and type designer and an assistant professor at the University of Bunduku in Côte d'Ivoire. He's a visiting fellow with my project, the Views project at the moment, in Cambridge, so he'll be joining us quite soon. And he's, during his visiting fellowship, is going to be making a comparative study of Bété and Chinese writing, which I'm really looking forward to. And today he's going to talk to us about typography. So thank you, Adam. Please go right ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be online today with you. And it's a pleasure for me to share my project with you. So today I'm going to talk about the typography, digital inclusion, and the preservation of minority script, the Bété case study. So to start, I want to say that today the world is deeply connected. So we are living in the connected world. So this connection is can be the problem for some script like Bété script or other script, because as we are living in the connected world, we need to have some tools to be able to communicate with some kind of script. So the connected world today is a problem for some scripts. Yeah. On World Endangered Day, this presentation explores how typography can function as a tool for cultural preservation and digital inclusion using the Bété script of Côte d'Ivoire as a case study. So I will say that there is a problem when we are living on this interconnected world, because some script in the world have some problem to use the new technology available now. So today on World Endangered Writing Day, I want to explore how typography can become a powerful instrument of preservation. We will approach this question through the lens of design using the Bété script of Côte d'Ivoire. So before that, UNESCO estimate that among the world, approximately 7,000 languages, more than half are endangered. So this is a real problem for us. And the significant number of the script possess unique writing system, possess their own script that embody history, identity, and worldview, yet remain absent from digital infrastructure. So today, when we go in the World Writing System website, we can see there is a lot of writing system, and most of the writing system are not yet encoded. That is a real problem. And when we go in, we take the case of Africa, we can see that Africa is rich on writing system, and the problem still exists in Africa. Many of the script in Africa are not yet encoded. And today, I think that one of the solution for that problem is typography. Typography is the beginning to solve that problem. I want to say now and to talk now about the Bété script. So Bété script is a syllabary composed of 448 monosyllabary, monosign. So in a Bété script, each sign, design, or each sign represents a syllable. So this is the map of Côte d'Ivoire for those one don't know Cote d'Ivoire is in West Africa, and you can see through this map where Cote d'Ivoire is located. And you can see also at the right side, Bété people in Cote d'Ivoire. So I think that is important for some people who hear for the first time about Bété script. So Bété script has been invented by Frédéric Boury from Cote d'Ivoire. So Boury was an artist, a poet, sociologist. He was, for me, he was one of the big artists in the world. That is my point of view, according to Frédéric Boury, because the world he has done is so beautiful for me. So Bété script is a syllable, as I said. Each symbol represents a syllable, as you can see on the screen. And that is some pictures. As I want to say that Boury was an artist. So Boury drew sign from Bété culture, and then he decided to simplify the sign to become a sign and a scripture and a script pattern. So each character from Bété script is from a cultural concept, is from meaning, from different aspect of Bété culture. As you can see on the screen, there is different kind of drawing, and that drawing is as a full meaning, as a very important meaning in Bété culture. So design as a bridge for linguistic preservation. I think design is not merely decorative, it's a strategic problem-solving discipline. In our context, typography enables a script to become functionable, readable, transmittable, and cultural respectful. So we can see how, with the case of Bété script, how design is the role that design or say to preserve a script. So typography contributes to script preservation through three key actions: preservation, faithful digitization of script from manuscript and artwork, action, creation of functional fonts. So through typography, we can create a typeface to preserve writing system, and also through typography, we are able to let people know more about a script, or to let a script to be present on the digital space. So how can typography support digital inclusion and cultural preservation for endangered writing system, especially the Bété script? So I want to share a little bit my method when I starting to work on the Bété typography. So the development of Bété typography involve archival research and documentation, analysis of historic manuscript, typography experimentation, community consultation, and typeface design and testing. So we can see those steps with some image and related to Bété script. So I think the first important step is research and documentation. So in the case of Bété script, we collect data, and we also meet experts. We also meet many people in typography field who are some experience by designing typography, and also we meet the community members to see how we can improve our work, and also to get feedback from what we did and for what we can do for the future. Actually, in the first step is a step where I start to draw, to know more about the script. and to draw, to experiment the script every day, to be able to know more and to be able to write the script. Here we can see some exercise that I made when I was start to design the the the, the typography. So after that, I was able to start to draw on the glyph, and by drawing on glyph, I was faced of many kind of problem that I try to solve. Here, one of the problem was interpretation of the character. So when we are designing script, is important to have the good interpretation of the character, to keep the meaning, the real meaning of the script. Uh, as we design typography not for art but for people, we need to understand correctly which science is the best to be able to transcribe the script correctly. So I was able also to meet, as I said, many people here, community members, to have feedback from them, and also to be able to correct my work. And I met the Bété people, the Bété community many times. And when I have some question, I went in a village of Bété and then I asked question about the script. For me, this is a good and this is an important step when we are designing typography for the minority script. So we have some image here also. Digital inclusion encoded. So people are asking if a beta script is encoded. So for to reply to this question, beta script is not yet encoded, but many effort has been done because we are working with in collaboration with the script encoding initiative with other people. So today we are able to testing the poor font and the keyboard. Today we have a beta keyboard available on Google Play Store. So with this, we can start to tap test and to send to people. I think this is the beginning, and then after that we can be able to have other tool. But these are been possible because we design a typography, a typeface for Bété script. So typeface is very important to preserve a script. So we have some image here. And also we have a keyboard. We have an experimentation keyboard available, and then we can experiment this script well, and we can also try to write a manual for people, for children. I think this also is important. And here, that is some image that when I went to share with the family members of the creator of the script, and to let them know what is done now. So, and application and impact. The Bété script typography has enabled, we are with Bété typography, we are able to create educational tool for children. We can facilitate cultural transmission across generation. We can also facilitate artistic and creative expression, digital communication in Bété. So this is very important, I think. So in my own case and in my experimentation of Bété script, I'm using Bété script to communicate, to be able to share some word as an artist and a type and a designer. So here we can see that is a prototype of card game to help people memorize the Bété syllabary. And you can see how the script can be used. Also, I think this is a good point to promote the script. Also, we see here also this is the prototype of card game also here, and we can design the poster. Yeah, and I have been I have the opportunity to share the project in different area, in face interface, in some exhibition at the French Institute of Côte d'Ivoire, during a workshop and educational program, research, scholar, designer, artist, and public. So in my country also, I have the opportunity to share on the talk show in Cote d'Ivoire. What is Bété script and how today we can promote that script. This was very fantastic. And also, last year also, I organized the exhibition to share about the script. And we have some image here from the exhibition. And the work that I did about the Bété character to share and to promote the script. So after this exhibition, also I have the opportunity to organize the conference at the same place at the French Institute, and many people was there to share and to promote. Yeah, that is a good experience for me too. And
Ces élèves de CM2 sont venus découvrir l'exposition consacrée à Frédéric Brully-Boisbré, ses héritiers contemporains.
I have also
cet artiste
the opportunity to organize some activity with children. Yeah, so I will go quickly because the times are already done. So go quickly. So currently, I organize a workshop in my country, and for the conclusion, I want to say that Bété typography reveal a power of design to turn a cultural challenge into an opportunity for preservation and inclusion. By crossing digital boundaries, it shows how design can honor tradition while embracing technological innovation, opening the way toward a more inclusive and cultural diverse digital future. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ariq Syauqi, who is currently a doctoral researcher at KITLV and Leiden University, investigating Indonesian local scripts through linguistic anthropological perspectives, while still continuing his work as a type designer.
Hello, everyone. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Ariq. I'm from Indonesia. Currently, I'm a doctoral researcher at KITLV and Leiden University, Netherlands, investigating writing tradition of Indonesian local scripts from linguistic and anthropological perspectives. I'm sorry if there are some noises or if my connection is not good because currently I'm on field work on North Sumatra, Indonesia. And besides being a researcher, I'm also considered myself as a type designer before I was graduated from a master's in typeface design, University of Reading, UK, and I can see some people from Reading. And I also did postmaster research in typography at the Atelier National de Recherche Typographique, like Adam. And I work on multi-script typography. For a bit of context, Indonesia is home to a dozen of local scripts, but currently the use is surpassed by Latin for national communication. This is my first work on multi-script typeface design during my time in Reading. It tries to support 3 scripts used in Lombok, which are Latin, Arabic, and Balinese. Here's the example of how 3 scripts are used in Lombok, Indonesia, for the context. And during my time at INRT, I researched about Southern Sumatran scripts family, which is another Indonesian local scripts. And here's the result. And here's also the example of the scripts in contemporary use. People often hear that there are many problems to write minority scripts digitally, but why? Why is it so hard to adopt a script into the digital communication? And in this presentation, I'll try to break down the layered layers required and the challenges to adopt a script into the digital communication. My presentation will not be a groundbreaking one. It's just a introduction for people to understand the layered challenge for adapting minority scripts on the web from my perspective as a type designer. But while it's just an introduction, I believe that this topic is worth popularized, and especially here in this event, as it involves disciplines, and I believe audience here comes from different background. And as an introduction, writing to communicate. This is my own speed handwriting when I take notes. Can any of you read it? I hope so. When you write notes for yourself, you can do it completely freely. There is no rule on how you should write it, as long as you, as the writer, can understand it. Even if your handwriting is eligible to others, because in that context, you create your own standards. However, when you write to communicate with others, you need to follow certain common convention so that the reader can understand what you are writing. This is my slow handwriting when I want it to be understood by others. I hope this time you can decipher the message. The same principle applies to computers. You can design a writing system of your own, hack your computer, or make it work however you like, but it will only function within your system. When you want to communicate with others on the web, you need to follow an agreed universal standard that is understandable by any device. And for extra notes, the term usually used in computer context to define this is interoperability. And that is the actual hard part to make something interoperable. Let's begin with the first layer required on the web, encoding. Some people might ask, if encoding a character is so complex, why don't we just send text as JPEG image or PDF? Those formats are highly interoperable. But in fact, encoding a character starts as a simpler and more efficient idea. And to understand that, let's begin with how computers works. At its very core, a computer can only understand binary code, 0 or 1. I repeat, 0 or 1. That's all. The smallest unit in computer is called a bit. While one bit has only 2 possible values, 0 or 1, a string of bits can represent many more combinations. For example, 2 bits leaves us with 4 possibilities, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. And 3 bits gives 8 possibilities, like this. With these multiple possibilities, I can start to assign more value to it. For example, 0, 0 for A, 0, 0, 1 for B, and so on. And in fact, since the early computer era, people used strings of bits to communicate by assigning standardized value to certain patterns. Nowadays, 8-bit strings pattern has been widely used and standardized, and it's called as 1 byte, as many of you, I think, familiar with. One of the earliest standards was ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange, which used 7-bit string, leaving 128 possible patterns. While ASCII was widely accepted at the time, it had several problems. Those 128 character slots were designed for Basic Latin, which was mainly used in the US, and this means it wasn't adequate even for language that use accented Latin letters. And during that period, different manufacturers and countries developed their own encoding standards that made it difficult to communicate across systems or countries. And this is where Unicode steps in. Unicode developed and maintain universal international standard for text communication across border and device. It still uses the same basic idea, mapping strings of bits into characters, but this time use more bits and give us more available slots when code. But because what is stored and transmitted is so simple, just a sequence of bits, Unicode promises at least two key things: backward compatibility and future stability. Unicode guarantees that binary sequence written decades ago will still represent stem characters in the future. For example, the string 001 01100, which represent comma, written in the early 20 to early 2000, will still be read as comma in 2030, for example. Once a character is encoded in Unicode, it's permanent and cannot be changed. It's logical and necessary, but it introduces complexity in practice. Because of that, every proposed addition must undergo detailed review by linguists and technical experts, sometimes over several years. And as of today, about half of the total writing system in the world are still excluded from Unicode, meaning they cannot yet be used for digital communication. Most of these are minority scripts, including Lampung and Kerinci of Indonesia. For further information, you can go to this website, worldwritingsystem.org. And nevertheless, being included in Unicode doesn't guarantee seamless application either. Even for scripts that's already in Unicode for a couple of decades, problems still persist in different layers. For the rest of this presentation, I will use Balinese as a case example of such a so-called complex scripts, which has been on Unicode but still has many problems. So in this table, these are some base characters of Balinese scripts. If you see here, the letter cha is written like this. However, Balinese letter can be stacked multiple times. The letter cha can also written like this when it's used as a modifier placed below the base characters. However, for some reason, it has been decided that the core architecture of Unicode records only the abstract notion of a character, the semantic unit, and leaves the visual form to be handled in different layers. As a result, while each base characters of Balinese usually has two forms, like this, they both considered one character. And as a result, only this form were assigned the code points. The alternate forms, this one in red, they need to be summoned via open type feature through keyboard input. Therefore, what you intend to see is not the same as what you input on your keyboard. For example, to have a desired form like this is what you should input. Meaning the characters placed below the baseline should be inputted by two characters combined. And to make the users familiar with the input methods is a different challenges, especially if there is no standard yet. Writing is not the same as typing. Actually, just a couple days ago, I met a Batak script user here in North Sumatra. She's an expert and she writes her diary with the script. But when she was offered a job to transliterate some text from Latin to Batak script, she struggled and gave up the job as she wasn't familiar with the keyboard. And move on to another layer, which is font. We might be familiar with this symbol called tofu. It happens when a font simply doesn't support characters of scripts at all. However, more than that, in typography, there is a well-known maxim that type is a beautiful group of letters, not a group of beautiful letters. Thus, besides ensuring the visual correctness of each letter, it's also the job of a type designer to make sure the characters behave correctly as a system. And for Balinese, this means to program which consonant cluster are allowed, how stacking works, and how where modifiers attach, for example. Nonetheless, it requires both typographic skill and deep knowledge of script orthography, especially in complex yet minority scripts like Balinese. On the left, you can see the first version of Noto Balinese, for example, commissioned by Google and done by Monotype, failed to identify some common combination of use in Balinese and therefore didn't implement them properly in the font engineering. It resulted in clashing characters when three-level combinations are stacked, such as when forming syllables tia. This issue is now fixed as shown on the right here. Another example for a possible four-level stacking, such as when forming syllables trea, Noto serif Balinese on the left still cannot support it, while the Noto sans on the right does the job correctly. And the next layer, rendering. So OpenType is the status quo widely adopted font format nowadays, which can be used cross-platform. Prior to OpenType, different manufacturers developed their own proprietary font format locked to their technologies, introduced in the 1990s by Microsoft and Adobe as an extension of Apple's TrueType's technology. OpenType often described as having ended the font wars between manufacturers. Nonetheless, the script's specific logic, such as Arabic cursive joining, integrating, etc., it's partly implemented by the shaping engine, the rendering process. The font provides only the font-specific data that the shaping engine used to perform complex shaping. For example, as we already know, Om Swastiastu, a Balinese greeting, this is the desired result. And to make it happen, the user should input these characters on the keyboard. Nonetheless, as there are parts where type designer can only hope that the shaping engine will perform the font's rules as intended, when the shaping engine cannot perform the task, it will display the raw data of Unicode by mapping each code point one-to-one, such as this common failure when people use the default standard of Adobe's shaping engine. The last, when the font is well engineered and proper shaping engine is used and they match, it still doesn't guarantee that the script will appear correctly on screen. The last layer of this is the front-end application, like browser, text editor, word processor, social media apps, and so on, that are designed individually by different companies. Many times, these developers are not aware of the specific requirement for minority scripts. I usually use this one example to show how it can be a challenge. Due to its stacking rules, Balinese script requires general vertical space. This vertical space is not always provided by the developers, such as in search bar, which usually allow only one line with limited height, like this. I tested Balinese greeting phrase this one, Om Swastiastu, in several digital environments, including Google on Safari, and found that many of them cut the lower parts, like you can see here and here. And such front-end limitation, while might be unintentional, can still block the use of minority scripts in the digital communication. As a closing statement, this multi-layer challenge often lead to frustration for the user of minority scripts and may push them to adopt Latin scripts instead, as Latin just works across platform. Would they choose their own scripts over Latin? Indeed, that question can only be answered when they have balanced options and problems are diminished. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've learned a great deal from this, actually, being an outsider to the technical side of designing typefaces and so on. It helps a lot to think about what the challenges are and how they have to be faced. Okay, now we're going to have a joint question session now. We've got a bit more time than we did at this morning's session, so hopefully we'll get a few questions in. Can I begin by relaying one from the chat? Everyone, feel free to either raise your hand or type in the chat and I can relay questions. There's a question that came in for Adam's paper I don't want it to get lost because it's further back in the chat. This is from Nino, who says, while comparing different variants of the same character, what was the most important quality or property that determined which one was chosen in the end? Did you notice any general tendency? And actually, I was going to ask almost exactly the same question, so I'm glad Nino asked.
Okay, thank you for this question. So when I started to design the typeface for Bété script, this was one of my big problems because firstly I started to design each character through my own interpretation, because as a artist, as a designer, I wanted to do each character more beautiful than he had. So I want to draw very well the script. But when I back to the community members, they say, no, it's not like this. So you need to be close to the handwriting of the creator of the product on the script. So after that, I consider my manner to draw the script. So I went close to the handwriting of the creator of the character. So this was the first thing that I consider more to choose each character to be close, because when we are designing the script, it's not just for art, it's for the people, for the community. So the script that we are designing must be must reflect the meaning and the cultural meaning of the script of the community. So I hope that I answered to this question. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and that chimes so much with other things we've been hearing today as well. It's very interesting how how iconic and visually symbolic the script is, kind of in its visual properties, as it were. And
yes, of course. For me, as I as I presented before, of course there are many challenges, and like for me, I at least I try to map the challenges and not know how I can involve, because of course this process of adapting minority scripts, I believe it cannot be done only by one person, and at least for me, I should know my scope, in which part I can be involved and do my best.
And there's a question also from Vashantha for you. Just a comment, who says, there are issues with user interface on web application or word processors, etc., for the scripts that join or combine. However, the problem is worse when it comes to programming, i.e. using terminal or bash with Arabic type joining scripts or Indic type joining scripts. So even further technical problems. Jade has a question. Jade, would you like to?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the fascinating talks of you both. Just now, I switched my language because I know that Adam, you're from Côte d'Ivoire, so I ask you in French. But my question is that you have answered my question. So a small group of people are using it. So what I'm interested here is that you both are creating fascinating or very interesting scripts, and how many people, local people especially, are using them, and if yes, what can you share a bit about your experience here? Thank you.
Thank you, Jad, for your question. This question was really interesting because this is one of my most one of the best problems that I face when I'm talking about the Bété script, because right now they are, if few people who are able to use the Bété script. And that is that's the problem that I want to solve by creating the Bété typography. This allows us to be able to allow us to create manual for people who want to learn, because I met people who want to learn, but there are no many tools to use to learn. So for me, the typography of a script is a beginning to start designing a manual tool to let people, as you say that, you see in my presentation, there is the game card. That is some tool that I want to implement to let people know more about the script. But to answer to your question, we have few people, less than 100 people who are able to use the script today. And that is a real problem for us today. We have to find a solution. Yeah.
It's really encouraging knowing that. Thank you very much for sharing. So there will be program in next step. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed that presentation, Adam. I like you very much. I really enjoyed. Sorry, and I wanted to interrupt you, while you were speaking, but I know that it's not being correct to do that. I was so excited, it seems so fascinating to me, this Bété script. Yeah, and you've done a great work, and this is exactly what I hope to go and do with the Kikaku. Yeah, and but I just wanted to ask, how are you using this script? It's very, very colorful, isn't it? When you look at the handwriting and then when you actually digitize it, it looks very beautiful. I mean, this is very artistic, so, and also I was able to catch some sounds. There was FRAU, fro, and there were other sounds. And how do you copy them up into meanings? And how will you use them to make meanings? And how can you use the Bété script for education?
Okay, thank you for your question. This is a very interesting question. So this question allows me to talk more about the Bété script and to say more about the inventor too. So Bété script is from one of the language of Côte d'Ivoire. The language's name is Bété. So in Côte d'Ivoire, we have a group calling Bété people. So Bété people speak Bété language. And the inventor of the Bété script is from Bété people. So he wanted to preserve the knowledge of his people. So he took on the Bété cultural, Bété culture, sign, every situation, and he transcript this in draw. And then he calling by the song that the meaning is from Bété language. I mean, for instance, when we say in Bété language, hey, I say hey. We know the letter A, but in French is ah. This means that like when some animal come in your parcel, in your home, and you want to get up, you want to say get up, you say ah. So the inventor draw this symbolic signs and call it ah. I mean A. You call it A. So the Bété script is each character is from a song from Bété language, and then is mean like one is how to say that when people do something, he simplify this concept, this idea, and draw it to each characters. And how to use Bété script? He said that Bété script can be used for any language that use the sounds. So it's based on the sounds. So I can use Bété in English. I can use Bété in French. I can use Bété in other language because it's based on sounds. I don't know if you understand. So when he create a script, he said that he wanted to let the script be very popular, to let African people use the script, because he said that it's based on song, so every people can use it. So I don't know if I answered to the question, to your question. Is that is it okay?
Yes. I think you have tried.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, really interesting question. Yeah.
I think I'll reach out personally to learn more about the Bété script.
Of course, yeah, I'll be happy to chat with you. Yeah.
Ariq, can I ask you a question? Because I was very curious about so your example of thank you. Yes, so your example of someone who handwrites a script but found the challenge of typing using the special keyboard just too much to write in the same script, to type in the same script. I wondered sort of how those kinds of problems reflect more widely on user communities. I mean, are the scripts simply too challenging for a wider user community, or are there ways of kind of making the ways that you type, the use of the special keyboard and so on, making that more accessible to people? Is that sort of how you try and get it out to the people who would use it? I just wondered what kinds of challenges and maybe solutions you've seen on that front.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think the general problem with that is there is no convention yet. Like people are not used to it, and for example, for the keyboards, there is no standard yet. Because for the context, Indonesia as a nation, we use Latin nationally to communicate because not all the communities have their own scripts. So we just use Latin nationally, and that's why the local scripts is under supported. And it's just recently the government tries to create the national standards for some local scripts keyboard. And I think it's Javanese, Sundanese, and I don't know one other. But because there is no standards, and people, for example, in Bali, they used to hack keyboard, the keyboard that they use when they try to type the scripts when it's not on the Unicode, and they are familiar with using Latin keyboard and so on. And on the other hand, as some companies like Google tries to create their own keyboard, they try to create a new. It's just different how you it's just different logic whether you use proper encoded characters versus like the characters that is encoded in Latin code points, something like that. And to create the convention, that's the hardest part, I think.
Absolutely, yes. It's a sort of a whole new kind of educational challenge, isn't it?
For the solution, I think there should be many ways. For example, if the government tries to ask manufacturers, for example, phone manufacturers or laptop manufacturers to provide a standardized keyboard, and it becomes popularized and so on.
I think we're drawing to the end of the session now, unless there are any quick questions before we finish. I'll just draw attention to something that came up in the chat. Juan Casco has just posted a link to a keyboard that he's designed for Quechua. I think that's right, which I'd encourage you to look at too, everyone. If we have no other questions for now, let's thank our speakers. Thank you so much. This is such a rich panel, and I've learned a great deal from it. And I think again has both raised new technological issues and really chimed in with a lot of the themes that we've been seeing coming up during the day.